Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have drawn 3-3 with Sheffield United, and I tell you what, I think I could take all week and still not really know where to come in with this game. VAR is a joke. I thought Solskjaer's tactics in the first half were sackable, but the comeback in the second half showed that there is potential there. Some of the players should never play for us again. Some of them should be playing every bloody week. But look, I think it's just typical of Manchester United. This is typical of United at the moment. We're 2-0 down. A lot of people are saying Ollie out. I said, wait till the 90th minute. If we can do this at the Etihad, we can do it here. We get ourselves into a winning position. We're 3-2, and then we end up drawing. And this is the problem, and this is what makes me worry about the coaching and the setup with United, is that even when we rescue a horrific result and turn it into a great result, we still end up with a dross. I hate draws. They're the middle of the road. They don't give you anything. People will say, oh, that's not a bad point. That's a good result. But it's 1 point. We had an opportunity today to be fifth in the league, and we're ninth. Like, it just feels that one step forward, 2 steps back, and then a couple of side-to-side steps. I'm disappointed. We should have won that game. We should have won that game. And I tell you what, VAR, I've never liked VAR. I dislike VAR with so much passion, and I bloody hate it even more tonight. That, to me, is a handball. Of everything I've seen, that ball, there is no way, and I'm talking about a frame before this, the ball's coming across at pace and he does that to stop it. He must be a bloody genius. He needs to put his shoulder back in. He does that to stop a ball that's coming across like that. Bollocks. You watch it back before, his arm's all over the place, and I'm convinced they haven't caught a frame where as his hand moves like that, it slightly catches it to slow it down a little bit. But regardless of that, watch the Champions League final. Watch the penalty that Liverpool get against Spurs on Sissoko. It's hitting him about there. It's the same place. It's the same bloody pace. And I totally agree with what people are saying. And I'm not digging Liverpool out here. Liverpool are going to win the league. Fair bloody play. Well, I don't want you to win it, but fair play. But my point is, if that was against Liverpool, I think it would have been... If that was Liverpool and Sheffield United scored, I think they would have ruled it out. I was convinced. I even tweeted, I love VAR, because having seen it, I was like, they're definitely going to rule that out. And then they don't. They don't, but they don't understand the world of physics. That football cannot slow down. It can't slow down that quick because of that. There's got to be a bit of that, or there's got to be something like that going on. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. We're robbed of 3 points, but then you look at it and you go, well, actually, how many times are you going to come back from being 2-0 down? Sheffield United, for 60 minutes in that game, were absolutely superb. And somebody says handball or not, Sheffield United deserve to win. You can't say that. Look, I don't like VAR. I'm very passionately against VAR, and I think VAR has cost us today. I'm going to do the player ratings in a minute, and the player ratings will probably surprise some people, because what I would say is, fair play to Brandon Williams. What a finish. That goal gives us the confidence to get back into the game and nearly win it. That goal by Brandon Williams was out of nothing. The technique, absolutely brilliant. And I think if we don't score a goal like that, we don't even get back into the game. So Brandon Williams, that goal was superb on a very difficult evening for him, which we'll talk about in a minute. The cross from Rashford to Greenwood was world class. Fair play to Greenwood for finishing it, but the world class finish, that's how we got back in that game. Sheffield United were better than us for most of that game, but we got back into it because if you create world class goals, you get back in a game. That finish from Brandon Williams and the cross from Rashford got us 2 goals that were world class because of the creation of Rashford and the finish from Brandon Williams. We get back into it, we stretch them, we get in front, but let's look at this really. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on the side of the pitch at 3-2, punch in the air, thinks he's turned it around. Mate, you've got to learn, and you've got to learn quick, because you ain't going to be here long. You're not going to be here long. How many more times are you going to play 3 at the back? Stop playing 3 at the back. You did it against Liverpool, it worked for half an hour. In the second half, you parked the bus, it was rubbish. You did it in Partizan Belgrade, we were awful. You did it against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, you had to change it and then we became a better team. You did it again today, you changed it, we became a better team. Stop playing 3 at the back. It makes you look inept. It makes you look tactically clueless. And in that first half, you were tactically put back in kindergarten. You were absolutely embarrassed. You went 1-0 down and they still dominated. It was a joke. And don't pick Phil Jones again, because you know what? I feel sorry for Phil Jones. I feel sorry for him, but he's made mistakes for years. When you pick him and he makes a mistake, there's nowhere to hide. You're the manager. You picked him. It's on you. Very, very lucky, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But that, in a positive, might be why he succeeds. You know, at 3-2, I would be saying maybe that result's going to be the result that turns this around. I still think it can be because it's not a loss, it's a draw, but he has got to stop messing around doing clever things. If you play 3 centre-backs, you don't concede the sort of chances we conceded in that first half. And he's got to stop doing it. He has to stop doing it. And for a lot of that game, I thought it felt like Everton at Goodison Park in April when they beat us 4-0. A lot of that game, and I was like, if nothing's changed from April, why are we even bothering with this future chat? Why are we even bothering? But we didn't. We changed it. We went on the front foot. It was very gung-ho. Tactically, if I was sat here giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a mark out of 10 tactically today, I'd give him a 4. It was a tactical mess. What happened is we got outclassed for 60 minutes. They're 2-0 up, and then he just went, my job's on the line. I'm going gung-ho. We went 4-2-4. And we just created chances and we won the game, and then we went defensive and we drew the game. And let's not forget that we won that game by going gung-ho. Fair play, brilliant from Ollie. And then he takes Martial off and brings Twansebi on, and we sit back and invite pressure. For 20 minutes, we looked like we were going to score every bloody chance. We get to 3-2, and then the last 5 minutes we sit back, and you think, oh, there was chances to make it 4-2, and we go and sit back and we invite the pressure and they get a goal. But for me, I'm just looking at it on the telly there. That is a handball. He physically cannot stop that ball without using his hand. It's a handball. I'm looking at it now. What, VAR can check all it likes, but he's stopping the ball with the top of his arm. It's a handball. I don't care what anybody says. We'll do the player ratings, but yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm emotionally all over the place. I don't know about you lot. I'm absolutely emotionally all over the place. I was never going to be Ollie out if we lost because I know they won't sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I think that result today probably keeps him well into the new year because I think we'll beat Villa next week, and then Spurs and Man City. Who knows what's going to happen in that? I'll do your super chats at the end, by the way. But all in all, I'm just that's why we love football. But we should have won that game. We should have lost that. We should have lost that game at 2-0. We totally deserved to lose it. But football's a funny old game, and there was half an hour left to go. I think Sheffield United took their foot off the pedal. They thought, we've been so good, there's no way they're going to come back from this. They're weak-minded. They have no leaders. We've absolutely dominated them. We've outclassed them. We don't concede many goals. We've won this game. And you can understand why Sheffield United thought that. But then United just started playing. And you wonder why we don't do that from minute one. We started to play. We went for it. We played without fear. And we won the game. And then we drew the game. So we won, lost and drew in 90 minutes. Unbelievable. But I think we come out of that game probably a little bit more disappointed than I came into it. I really expected us to win it. Then we did win it, and then we drew it. In the cold, harsh light of day, I think we're going to have to watch it back on Match of the Day tonight. We're going to have a sleep on it. I think the people who are backing Ollie will still back Ollie and say, what a comeback. That's something to build on. I think people who don't think he's good enough will say he's tactically inept. He was absolutely outclassed. He went gung-ho. You can't play gung-ho football normally. You know, you're 2-0 down. They sit back. You go gung-ho. You end up 3-2. It's one of them things. He can't do that 90 minutes. And then when he does get in front, he goes and plays defensive and we lose the lead. So there's going to be different people. If you're Ollie out, I think you're still Ollie out. If you're on the fence, you're on the fence. If you're Ollie in, you're still Ollie in. For me, I still would say what I've always said, that there's still a story to be told. The story's not over yet. And a draw doesn't complete the story either way. I don't know whether he's going to be a success. I don't know whether he's going to be a failure off that. I think for 60 minutes you think he's going to be a failure. For 25 minutes you think he's got a chance of being successful. The last 5 minutes you think, what are we doing? You know, I'm on the fence again. So very, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. But I want to do the player ratings. I really, really want to emphasise that if Brandon Williams doesn't score that cracking goal, we don't get back in the game. You needed to score against Sheffield United and get them on the back foot. You needed to knock their confidence. And the only way we were going to do that was by scoring a good goal. And Brandon Williams' goal was superb. The cross from Rashford was superb, and that makes it 2-2. And then I think Sheffield United are like a boxer. You've hit them with two cracking world-class punches. They're dizzy. You go and make it 3-2. And we should have made it 4-2. He should never have gone defensive after that. He should not have brought Twansebi on. Keep it going the way it is. They would not have gone gung-ho, Sheffield United, because we had too much on the break. I think we sat back, we invited it, and that's how it went. But player ratings, let's do the player ratings. Please do smash a like on the video. My man of the match is going to be, and let me just read this super chat from Don Dotcher. He says, if I'm honest, great comeback, but didn't deserve to win. We were brutal for 70 minutes. Phil Jones belongs in the scrum. Ollie should have replaced Aaron Wan-Bissaka, not Martial. We should have turned the screw at 3-2. We'll get some of your comments in a minute, but let's do the player ratings. For me, I don't know how Muse beat De Gea on the second goal. I've got no idea, but I thought De Gea was superb today. And I would give him an 8. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. That's the worst 8 in the world. Can we delete that? Yeah, 8 for De Gea. Wan-Bissaka 4. I thought you know what, Wan-Bissaka is one of my favourite players. But let's not forget we played crap for 70 minutes. And just because they're one of your favourite players, it would be ridiculously biased to pretend they were anything better than a 4. At 2-0 down, no player was above a 4. So who got above a 4 in the last 20 minutes? Not Wan-Bissaka for me. Lindelof, again, I would give Lindelof a 5 because he wasn't actually at fault for any of the goals. But I think Lindelof looked confused. Like all three centre-backs looked confused. Harry Maguire, I'd give him a 5 because he was dominant in the air, but he was definitely at fault for the second goal. He needed to close Muse down quicker than that. Phil Jones, 1. He was awful. He started off well. He made the mistake. He got subbed at half-time. He was awful. Brandon Williams, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he had a bad game. He didn't have a great game. He looked a little bit lost, and you would do if Phil Jones is the man next to you. But that goal was superb. I'd be tempted to knock him up to an 8 for the goal. But his overall performance wasn't that good. But as a young player, you've got to accept that you're going to get inconsistency with a young player. But that goal got us back into the game. So 7 for me. And I don't think any outfield player gets better than a 7. I think we're lying to ourselves if you think anybody got above a 7. Because for 70 minutes, every player on the pitch was very, very poor. Pereira 3. Really poor performance from him. Gave the ball away a lot. Fred, I'm going to give him a 6. Was at fault for the second goal. Gave the ball away a lot. But I think when you look at stats, I bet Fred covered more distance than anyone. I bet he had more touches than anyone. He didn't hide. He kept going. So I'd give him a 6. But he did get dominated a lot in that game as well. Rashford a 6. Simply because he just wasn't in the game for 70 minutes. But the assist was superb. Absolutely superb. So I'd give him a 6. I think he rescued an average performance. Martial a 4. Didn't have a very good game. Even when we were attacking, I didn't think he had a very good game. And again, Martial's one of my favourite players, but I'm not going to be biased. Martial and Wan-Bissaka had a bad game today. And, Martial and Dan James and Rashford, it wasn't their fault for 70 minutes. They just got no service. But in the last 20 minutes, we did get a lot of service. And I still think Martial wasn't able to get his game going at all. And Dan James, I'd give him a 6 because I thought that the pullback to Rashford's goal was great. In fact, I'm gonna knock Rashford up to a 7 because he got a goal and an assist. Let's be honest. But overall, my man of the match today, I'm going to give it to Brandon Williams. I know he didn't get the highest score, but I'm going to give him man of the match because that goal was so good, but it was a game changer. It gave us momentum. It gave us the impetus to change the game. So Brandon Williams gets my man of the match. Even though De Gea had a better overall game over 90 minutes, Brandon Williams actually, and you could say De Gea did as well because he made a brilliant save in the first half. But for me, Brandon Williams, that goal just allowed us to get back in the game. And it's funny, isn't it? The goal that equalised was another kid. Brandon Williams and Greenwood, both youth players, both got us back in the game. So smash a like on the video if Brandon Williams was your man of the match. But I just felt that goal was so important for Manchester United and really did provide the impetus to get us back into the game. So really, really, really pleased with that. And look, I'll take a draw every day of the week from 2-0 down. What it means in the grand scheme of things is I don't think we learn a lot. And I think this is the shame. I think that I expected after Brighton to win today. And we nearly did win, but it wasn't the win I predicted. So I wouldn't have took credit if we'd have won this game. I wouldn't have said I told you we were going to win because that's not the win I predicted. I predicted us to go and play for 90 minutes, play well, and beat Sheffield United. We nearly beat them because we smashed and grabbed it in the last 20 minutes, which is fine. It's still a win and it's still a deserved win. But for 70 minutes, we were not a good team, and I didn't expect that. And I think we come out of this game uncertain again. Because we know that we can cause people problems, but we also know that we cause ourselves problems. And I think the big problem with United is, and it's not the elephant in the room, we all need to face up to it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick, McKenna, they're all massively inexperienced. There's no experience there. They're making silly mistakes. For 70 minutes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was absolutely schoolboyed by Chris Wilder. He made him look awful. And I know Sheffield United nearly got a draw out of Liverpool, but he didn't make Klopp look awful. Liverpool struggled to break Sheffield United down. Wilder's Sheffield United made United's team look awful. Bench players, I'd give Lingard a 6. I think Lingard got involved without... Actually, he should have scored a goal as well, but I think Lingard did okay. I think that Greenwood, I would give him a 7. Didn't do anything wrong and looked a threat. Who else came on? Twan Sebi, he wasn't on long enough. But inexperienced equals shit, says George Kyle. Look, I'm very aware in the live comments there's a lot of people who are very angry still. It's not my fault at the end of the day. I'm going to take some of your comments. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody who's watching. We've got over 20,000 people watching. But I think that one thing I did take some notes about is that apparently Gary Neville said that the front three, when we went 2-0 down, are to blame. I think Gary, if he said that, and I don't know whether he did, but if anybody does think that, you really need to think how adamant are you that you stick up for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that you ignore the truth. We were 2-0 down because we played 3 at the back. We were 2-0 down because we played some stupid tactical genius idea that actually was schoolboy. It was awful. The front three didn't play well for 70 minutes because we didn't give them any of the ball. In the last 20 minutes, Rashford gets a goal and assist. James gets an assist. Greenwood comes on and scores. There was loads of things going on. That front three is a good front three if you attack. If you don't give them any ball, they're going to get 4 out of 10 because they've got no way to have a good performance. So the front three are not the problem today. The midfield was the problem, and the 3 centre backs were the problem. And Wan-Bissaka and Williams were the problem. Wan-Bissaka had a bad game, he never does. Brandon Williams had a bad game up until the goal because I think the whole back 5 was confused. If you play a flat back 4 like we normally do, everyone knows their job, everyone knows their area. You play a back 5, it's meant to make you more defensively sound. It made us exposed. There was gaps everywhere. Everybody looked confused. So that was tactically inept. The midfield 2 of Pereira and Fred just didn't work. They got swamped. Because we had one less player in the midfield to have an extra centre-back, but left loads of space. And the front 3 were just totally exposed. So I don't think it was the front 3's problem at all. I think it was the tactics that caused that. The other thing I took a note of during the game as well is that Jose Mourinho had more points at this point than Ole's got. And yet people are like, give it time, give it time. At some point, we've got to show what we're waiting for. We talk about time and we talk about the future, but we're all having a day off. It's like, in the future we're going to be good, doesn't matter about now. You only become good in the future if you're grinding now. And at the moment, we're just so all over the place. That performance typifies United. We're a good enough team to beat anybody, but we don't end up winning, and we could have lost, but we also could have won. We're so inconsistent, we're so confused, and we're always talking about the future. But there's nothing in that performance today that makes me feel excited about the future. If anything, you take more frustration from it. How do you get 3-2 up from 2-0 down and still draw? Because whether it's a handball or not, it's still a bloody chance, isn't it? And he scored it. How did we end up being 2-0 down? Why are we playing those stupid tactics? Why is Phil Jones still being picked in a United shirt? Why is the midfield so exposed? When we go gung-ho and we get the win, why didn't we keep at it? There's still loads and loads of questions. And I would say this, if we'd had these results with Jose Mourinho, he was gone. So why has the expectations been lowered so much? When you look at the games we've lost this season, they're against teams in the bottom half of the table. When you look at the games we're drawing, they're against Southamptons and teams like that. And Wolves. And we've got to be doing better. We're 9th in the league. That's where we are. We could be 10th tomorrow if Newcastle win. So we're not in a good position. And that result today, God knows. Answers on a postcard whether that's a good result, a bad result, or an okay result. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That result today is just massively, massively confusing. And I just think you get out of it, you go and beat Villa, and you see what you do against Spurs and Man City for me, because God knows what we are. I don't know what we are. But we just come across as very naive. I think that's a word I would take away from today. naive. Not unlucky, we're just naive. We put ourselves in positions where you've almost got to do miracles to get a result, and we nearly did it. We nearly did it. From 2-0 down to 3-2 up was superb. World-class goal by Brandon Williams, world-class goal by Rashford, clinical play by James to get Rashford the third. You've won the game from 2-0 down. And Sheffield United don't concede many goals. In fact, that's the first time they've conceded a goal in the last 15 minutes, and they conceded 2. So, it shows what we've done today. Magic Eye says, hi Mark, I won't give the $20, but I'll give half. That being said, why are we still backing this manager? This team is top 4 quality under the right manager. Poor decision making, bad tactics, Ollie out. Well, that's an interesting thing. I'm going to take some of your comments now. That is an interesting thing, isn't it? That there are fans out there that feel that team is top 4 quality. I still think, as I keep saying every week, every minute of every game of this season, we will regret not signing Bruno Fernandes. We massively miss a player like that. Because although Lingard did okay in the second half, he had the ball in a lot of places where a better player would be feeding people in. And that front three would love it. The midfield is just not good enough. And I'm shocked about what he did with Phil Jones today. Absolutely backfired. And that's got to be on Ollie's shoulders. I actually feel sorry for Phil Jones tonight. I know I went mad about it. Anyone's going to go mad about it. But I do feel sorry for Phil Jones because he's made these mistakes so many times now. He shouldn't be at Manchester United. He's got too many mistakes in him. And he basically cost us a goal today. That's on the manager. The manager should not be picking him. And I don't understand why he did that. But more importantly, taking it away from Phil Jones, I don't understand why he played 3 at the back again. I'm not opposed to 5-3-2, but every time we play 3 centre-backs, our centre-backs are shit. Look at the goals every time we play 3 centre-backs, our 3 centre-backs don't play well. Maguire didn't play very well against Partizan. Lindelof as well. We don't play well. Remember the Chelsea game? Was it Batshuayi flicked his own header on and went on and scored against Lindelof? Was it Lindelof and Maguire? The centre-backs play badly when we play 3. Play 2 centre-backs. Sean Vinity says, I'm tired of 89 bullshit. Only good analogy is 1975. 6 years on from the Busby. That's where we really are. Aaron Wan-Bissaka can't attack, says Adoto Bankoli. Well, exactly. If you're going to play a 5-3-2 as well, your fullbacks have got to get forward. And Brandon Williams wants to do it, but Wan-Bissaka struggles with it. Mr. B says, send that 3 back to Kingdom. Bloody come. Poor game. Ollie is at fault, says Red or Dead. Bad tactics for 75 minutes and the last 5. Fire999 says, bad show. No excuses. Ollie's driving the bus off cliff. I tell you what I would say about that formation as well is how naive was that? You beat Brighton playing a 4-2-3-1. You have an international break where you don't get to train your players much. You go away from home against a well-organised team that's doing really, really well and inflict a new formation on them. And it was a new formation because when we've played 5-3-2, we've played with 3 midfielders. Today we played with 2. It was a brand new formation and it looked like it and it was massively naive and it nearly cost us. Removing Martial was a mistake. We had to keep at it, says Hardevan. I agree with you on that one. Aidan Strazi says De Gea on a third goal would have been a save 2 years ago. I don't know. It was very close to him. Arturo Venaga says, what happens between Woodward and Sir Alex in the stands? I think it's a storm in a teacup, to be honest with you. Playing Twansibi with an injury was perhaps a better option, says Kazalai Chakabad. Well, no, just play 2 centre-backs, Lindelof and Maguire. Jay Singh says 2 halves of football there and just shows what happens when we attack. Hope Ollie learns from this and plays this attacking football more often. We cannot play like we did in the last 20 minutes. We can't. It was gung-ho. It was literally Sheffield United were going to sit back and say you won't score and we just chucked the kitchen sink at them. You can't play that for 90 minutes because decent teams will pick you apart. It was just simply Sheffield United thought they'd won the game. If they'd carried on playing how they were, we wouldn't have got back in it. They just thought they could soak up the pressure and we scored 2 world-class goals and then they were knocked out. You can't play that every week. Just don't play 3 at the back. That's the problem. Don Dorsher, if I'm honest, great comeback but didn't deserve to win. We were brutal for 70 minutes. Phil, yeah, I've read that one. Emmanuel Johnson says Tony shouldn't have been subbed. Attack was best defence. Wrath Ronnie says, Mark, you and I feel the same about VAR in Liverpool. I replied on this video's tweet. Please read that. VAR out. Richard Stainer, have you seen Woodward shouting at Sir Alex? Makes me want to knock him out. How dare he? Ollie lost bringing on Twansibi to defend. Mr. Hoss shouldn't be relying on VAR to beat Sheffield. Jordan Such, do you think they gave the goal because they gave Dele Alli's goal a few weeks back? It was given, possibly. Nico, Ollie still has to go. This feels like Arsenal game yesterday. Lucky to get a point. We were dominated for 70 minutes. Very good comparison to Arsenal yesterday. Actually, you get a point, so it's not the end of the world. But actually, it's not that great. But the thing is, I think the difference is we should have won that game. Mazar Gudrali says Solskjaer and staff are just not learning. Leo, Man United says Ollie out. It's United versus Sheffield United. Come on, it's not VAR's fault. We only came back because he got desperate. How does he start the game like that? Red Devils 93. Why is Phil Jones still here? Tim Z35, love how Brandon and Mason going straight back after goals, not celebrating. It's VAR, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He went coward again after 3-2. James Parker Super Chat sums it up perfectly, says Harry Zazjad. Christopher Delagi, Ollie needs to go now. Those players are disgusting. Donny Anasa says 2 of the goals should have been disallowed. George Suker says Ollie is a wuss for taking Tony out and paid the price. Barry Haynes says absolute disgrace. Team redeems him once in. He switches it from 5 at the back. We take the lead. He goes back to 5 at the back and concedes. Shambles. Ollie out. I don't know whether it was 5 at the back. I think Twan Seaby was playing CDM, to be fair, but it was too defensive. We had them on the ropes. Did not need the last sub. We had Mojo. VAR failed, says Red Devils 93. Wouldn't have been disallowed if we would be Liverpool, says the dopist. James Parker, Ollie is clueless tactically. We were all over them at 3-2 and he bottled it. Took off Martial and went back to a tactic that wasn't working. Disgrace. He has to go now. Fitness and scripted Sharath. That hits his anterior deltoid. We suck. Glory Man United, says Roberto Carrera. And trying to hold a lead, Ollie takes off the only striker that can hold the ball up. As good as it was to get back in the game, we were let down by tactics and game management once again. Can't believe VAR is the title, stopping using it as an excuse. United poor again. Gung-ho football got us out of jail. And a point. Ollie clueless, Ollie out. And that was from Pack 376. So, how do you feel about it, everybody? Please do smash a like on the video. It's been an entertaining afternoon. I'm going to have to digest this for a very long time. I'm really excited to see the fan cams, the people at the ground. What a game it was for them. What do they feel afterwards? I think they'll be buzzing. That's my prediction, but we'll see. Make sure you're subscribed and you smash a like on the video, as I say. My reaction right now, and I'll do one tomorrow lunchtime as I always do, where I've had a little bit of a think. My reaction right now is that we nearly won a game despite the manager. And I agree with that comment. I think the manager nearly lost us that game. Got into a position of winning it and then cost us the win with a draw. He spot on. The last 5 minutes was crap tactics. The first 70 minutes was crap tactics. We went gung-ho for 15 minutes. We got 3-2. He went defensive at the end. He shouldn't have done that. You just invited pressure that they weren't having. And the first 70 minutes we were awful and we nearly lost the game because of that. So the jury's still out on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think if you're like me and you still think there's a story to be told, I still think there's a story to be told. If you're Ollie in, you're still Ollie in. If you're Ollie out, you're going to be Ollie out. I don't think we learn a hell of a lot today. I think that the problems are still there. Maybe the positivity's still there for some people. Just a weird game of football. At least we've got Villa at home next week, because I think that should be a bit like Brighton. We should have too much for them at Old Trafford. But going into those Spurs and Man City games, they're going to be season definers, but I'm just so disappointed. We should have been 5th today, and we're 9th. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to have to sleep on that result. I just don't know. Football, at the end of the day, football's the winner, isn't it? I think for a neutral, that was probably a cracking game. Speak to you all soon. Watch out for the fan cams. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you to all of you lot this afternoon. I mean, thank you. Really, thank you. I've whatever you think of the result, however you're feeling now, we've had a really entertaining afternoon. So thanks everyone who's been joining us throughout or all of it. And I'll see you all soon. I think you're brilliant. Speak to you soon.